What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with the MLB Power Rankings for Week 5. As always, hit that subscribe button down below to be entered into our giveaway at 500 subscribers. But before I get into this week's Power Rankings video, we got to look at the hitters of the week. And Nick Senzel and Brent Rooker are taking home hitters of the week with almost 500 averages, home runs galore for Brent Rooker, and RBIs galore for both. These guys knew how to get on base as well, with on-base percentages of over 500 last week, as they were key factors in their team's play last week. And then pitchers of the week, I have Sonny Gray and Nathan Eovaldi. Sonny Gray has been dominant all year, and this week was no other. And then Nathan Eovaldi really stepped up his game this week with a 1.8 ERA in 15 innings and a complete game shutout of the Yankees, only allowing 3 hits at home. So he really dialed it in against a team that can hit the ball. And, he definitely is a great accusation for the Rangers for the foreseeable future, with DeGrom, and that staff could be very deadly at the end of the year. The team of the week are the Cincinnati Reds. We went 5-1 last week, sweeping those Rangers and beating Oakland in a 3-game series 2-1. That's because of their young arms. They're pitching with Graham Ashcraft, Hunter Green, and Nick Lodolo. They have all been great so far. Lodolo has been the only outlier with having a few bad starts, but when he has been on, he has been a great piece. So the Reds are relying on their pitching to get wins. As you can see there, they're 28th in the MLB with 19 home runs so far this year and a hitter-friendly park, and they're also 6th in the league with strikeouts. So the pitching is doing their part and whatnot, and other than that, it's not that much, and they aren't leading the league in saves. They only have 6. That just didn't get edited out. And then our biggest movers, the Pirates, moving up 11 spots. So you can assume, if you're watching this video last week, that they are going to be in the top 5. The Orioles and the Phillies moving up as well. And then both New York teams and, of course, the White Sox are moving down. The White Sox were on a 10-game losing streak at one point last week. And then the Yankees and Mets just didn't have the best weeks and, couldn't really figure it out. So starting through 30 through 21, you have the A's and Royals sitting at the bottom again. The White Sox moving all the way down to 28 after their awful start. So the Rockies move up one because Cardinals are still struggling, so they're moving down. The Nats, Tigers, Giants, and Reds all move up because of these teams. And the Mariners, unfortunately, are pretty much the best team that isn't in the top 20. They're moving down one after starting very sluggish and slow with 12 and 16. But the team to watch out for here, I would say, are the Cardinals. Obviously, this team can still turn it around. There's a ton of games left. They're only almost 30 games through the season. And, they could rip off a 10-game winning streak like it's nothing. So don't count out those Cardinals just yet. Don't write them off. Even the Reds, NL Central is an interesting story. And you don't know what's going to go on there, with the Pirates leading and the Brewers still in contention, and with those Cubs too. So keep an eye on the Cincinnati Reds. 20 through 11, this is where things get interesting and lots of movement besides the Diamondbacks. So the Angels moving up 1 into this slide, Guardians down 2, Red Sox down 2, the Marlins up 1, and that team still isn't getting talked about enough. Just getting wins day in and day out, doing enough just to be afloat still at this point in the season. You can see these teams aren't really separated by a lot of wins through the 20 through 11. So these teams are going to be flip-flopping a lot over the next few weeks as well. The Cubs are moving down 4 after their 2-4 week last week. The Phillies up 5 after a 3-2 week, but beating the Astros and almost sweeping them in their place got them to move up a lot. The Yankees and Mets moving down, obviously, because they had very bad weeks last week, but maybe the Mets could have went 3-3 if 2 of their games didn't get canceled, so I'm kind of, being a little low on them here this week. The Twins moving up 3 after their 5-2 week last week, and they're a team that definitely could crack the top 10 yet again. In the 10 through 1, we're going to have the Rangers and Padres stay at 10-8, and in between them are the Brewers moving down out of the top 5. Nothing crazy for them going 3-3. They're just some teams last week that played better and deserve to be in that top 5. The Dodgers are jumping them as well at 7 after their 4-2 week. They're starting to figure things out, as a lot of question marks were coming into the season. Astros moved down 3 as they almost got swept to those Phillies. Could have finished 1-4 last week, but they didn't, and they salvaged a win there. So I moved them out of the top 5. The Blue Jays are 5-1 last week and are still moving down 3. And, it's mainly because, I think the teams that jumped them are playing better baseball right now. Nothing against the Blue Jays, but for me, they had to stay perfect. Just probably saying that too last week, and they didn't. The Orioles 5-2, some gutty wins against Detroit last week. They're 19-9, and that AL East race is going to be insane for pretty much the whole year. And then the Braves move up one, and they went 4-1 last week after two of their games got canceled against the Mets. So they could have went 6-1 and maybe even been at number 2. But at 2 are the Pittsburgh Pirates. Those the Pirates that no one saw coming after O'Neal Cruz got hurt. I think myself and a lot of writers pretty much wrote them off as they're like, well, their best player's hurt and now they have nothing going for them. But that is not the case. Ryan Reynolds has just been, insane for them. Pitching has been good, and this team just finds ways to win games. And this early in the year, every win does matter. So they need to get to a place where they're around this, probably 10 games above 500 when O'Neal Cruz gets back, and then that team could really take off from there. And at 1, staying at 1 are the Tampa Bay Rays. This team has been the best team in baseball every single game. Starting 14-0 to start the season is crazy, and since they've been 9-6, and that's still a very good record to have in the MLB. 4-3 last week, nothing to write home about, but it's a positive week for them as they finish with one more win and a loss. And it just seems like they are going to be at the top here for the foreseeable future if they keep playing the way they do. That's going to be it for the Week 5 Power Rankings. Make sure you guys check back next week to see who is on top and who could possibly dethrone those Rays. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.